Day, Internet, and welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I am your host for the evening. My name is Advocate of Words, and it is Monday, my favorite day of the week, because I get to hang out with all of you beautiful people. Those of you who are here on Zoom, make sure that you check the chat as I just put in the chat what the list is for today, and you can rename yourselves. So when you are performing, the people can see where they can find your social media handle and all of that good stuff. With that being said, let's get to business because I really want to hear the poems. So this is our fifth open mic of our new year. We are into our second year of the Monday Night Online Open Mic. If this is your first time here, where have you been, man? This is the spot to be on Mondays. Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. We are streaming live on there. If you're watching us from Facebook or YouTube, on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the Zoom number. It is 279-995-364. That will be up on the screen for a while. That is the same number for every Monday. Make sure you lock it in. Also, if you want to see our past open mics or a recording of tonight's open mic, you can go to our Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you look up New Eurekan Poets Cafe. We'd like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events. You too can help support us with a tax-deductible donation over at neweurekan.org/contribute. or onto our Cash App, New Eurekan Poets Cafe. So tonight's theme is mom. Now, of course, every week I remind everyone you have poetic license. So if you want to celebrate your mom or another mom, you can. If you're a mom you want to celebrate, go ahead. If you don't have a very good relationship with your mom and you want to share that, you can do that too. The theme tonight is mom. It's not necessarily one certain type of way. Next week, no theme. It's going to be a wild card. People are going to go crazy next week. After that, they said about me. I want to hear poems about rumors that were said about you. All of this good stuff can be found on my social media. You can look it up at Advocate of Words when you spell words. That is with a Z. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the good stuff. I am not on TikTok, though. I'm slow to it, I guess. I don't know. So here we go. Here are the rules. Poets, turn your camera on. This is like an open mic. We want to see those beautiful, expressive faces. Please have your poems ready. We have 25 people on our guaranteed list, 10 on the waiting list. We like to get to the people on the waiting list. They're not guaranteed, but we'd like to get to them. So please have your poem ready. Make sure that your poem is within 4 minutes. Be courteous. There is no censorship. So put the kids to sleep. After the poets perform their poems, you're going to see that the host asks to unmute you so you can be loud and obnoxious and shower everyone with cheers and appreciation. So make sure that you unmute yourself when you are asked to. Also, stick to the theme, but you don't have to. If you have a poem that's not on theme tonight, do not worry. We're not going to kick you off. You can rock with that. With that being said, I think we got everything. Oh, let me invite. Elaine just got in here. So one more time, I am going to put into the chat what our open mic list is for tonight, including the waiting list. We're starting off with the withdrawn, who's always getting on early. Appreciate that, dude. Let me unmute him. The withdrawn, kicking it off. Dude, you better have a poem about mom. A couple of weeks ago, we helped you surprise her, so you better have a poem about mom. With that being said, the withdrawn, let the people know where they can find you online, then kick your fire, brother.
Thank you. Y'all can follow me at The Withdrawn on Instagram and thewithdrawn.com. Okay, this poem is titled, I Swallowed Your Kids and You Still Didn't Wish Me a Happy Mother's Day. You're right, babe. Please accept my apology. Apology. I'm grateful that you swallowed the kids that you could, although some of them went up your nose and across your cheek. You know just as much as I do how kids tend to misbehave. So even if we told them to go straight for your mouth, they have a hard time listening to you and me. I don't know if spitting is your thing, but with this, the only spitting that will be going on is if it's us coming over me reciting poetry. I wonder if people think I mention that way too much. Truthfully, it never gets old, and plus, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I'ma have my hand behind your head, hair yanked back, other one gripped on the throat while I force your ass to swallow every single kid I drop between your lips. Just look up at me so pretty and say, Dámelo, papi. And when I'm done, I wish you a feliz Dia de la Madre, mami. We only got a month and 11 days until the next occasion in which you will be able to wish me a happy Father's Day, Nick. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for the withdrawn.
Does it again. That's how you set it off, homie. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Thank
It was
you.
dope.
Yeah.
What a way to start the mom-themed open mic. That was The Withdrawn. You can follow him at The Withdrawn, or you can go to his website, thewithdrawn.com. Next, coming up from San Francisco, the Bay Area, Joshua Kernia, who was just added to our intro video, finally. Joshua, let the people know where they can find you online. Then let's hear your poetry, brother.
Hey, I haven't been here for a while. I haven't read my poem for a while. So excited for this. You can find me on IG at Joshua_Kernia. So I wrote to the theme, and this is a new piece that I just finished. It's called The Only She I Will Always Love. I entered this world on one midnight in the humid monsoon air of January. Under the Capricorn stars and the lunar light of a waxing crescent moon. It's odd and wonderful to know that amongst the frail silence and beauty, a woman risked her life to give me a chance to live, which I'm not even sure I deserve to this day. I never asked for it, yet I'm glad it transpired. That someone in this world was willing to be cut open while her eyes are closed for me, to blink and to breathe, to cry and to laugh, to crawl, to walk, to ride, to bump my big head, to persevere and to fight, to speak, to write, to walk, to be a child and to age, to grieve, to appreciate life. She raised me with discipline, dignity, compassion, and most importantly, love. The love I know is one that knows no limit, distance, or expiration date. It has no terms and conditions, or side effects or caveats. For once, surrendering to a blinded love is good, pure, and eternal. This love is not enough to be captured and turned into a grid once a year, or expressed through roses, or spoken out loud in public. This love I experience is meant to be lived through hardships, doubts, and sacrifices, 27 years and counting until she enters the Garden of Eden one day. Through toils and snares I've gone through, yet she's always there, putting her life last and mine first, just like that night in January. She's always there to make me soar, no matter what shit I went through, however blue or black my heart subdue. She would break down and question life, pacing through strife, yet every time she would thrive. We don't say I love you enough, yet I feel her unconditional love like a velvet glove protecting me from the evil cuts of the universe. I use her fragile yet unbreakable sensitivity as a protective barrier every day I go to the battlefield. And I embrace her sacrifice to pick myself back up every time I break due to an imperfect splice. I know it's not for forever, because forever would make me take things for granted. The ticking bomb without a timestamp is a blessing in disguise, and there is no way I could cut any of its wires to stop time. So let me carry it wherever I go as a reminder that you are still here today, and I should never wait until tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Joshua Kernia, unmute yourselves and give him some love.
That was beautiful, man.
That's
Super
beautiful.
dope. Super dope. That's how you do it.
That was awesome.
Dope.
Love it.
Dope, man. Dope.
Beautifully
Thank you,
said.
guys.
Joshua, you better go to the New Rican Poets Cafe Facebook or YouTube page and send that to Mom. Joshua Kernia, you can find him. He's also got his own podcast, A Line by Line, ALIGN by BY Line, LINE. Make sure you check it out. Okay, next coming up, we've got Elaine the dog. We haven't heard from Elaine in a while. Elaine seems to show up like every month, every 6 weeks. Let me unmute Elaine. Unmute you, Elaine. Are you getting it? Are you getting the mess? There we go.
Hi.
Elaine, let the people know where they can find you online. You could quickly talk about your published book, and then let's hear your poetry.
Hi, everyone. So nice to be here. So nice to see you guys. You can find me on Instagram in Elaine_Nadal. I have 2 books. The first one is Sweat Dancing Cut, and the second one is called When, and they're available through Amazon. I have 2 quick short poems. The first one's called A Dream. She was making rice and stirring a pot of pollo guisado, beautifully, meticulously, cariñosamente. I contemplated her. Smells good, right, mija? A plethora of flowers fell from the heavens, magenta, purple, blue, and silver. They descended gracefully, lelo lelo lai, lelo lelo lai, carrying me to a fertile land. I saw Jibarito delighting in the freshly cut grass. With a melody on his lips and hierbas in his tattered hands, he scattered the seeds with care. Magia. Mommy continued mixing, a sprinkling of water on my head. Warm, therapeutic, relajante. I closed my eyes, releasing awareness, but my peace was interrupted. She stopped stirring, and I awoke to an empty stove. No pollo guisado, no flowers, no song. The second poem doesn't have a title. Is a light bulb when it turns on. Warm water I don't spit out. Water not here nor there, yet I'm planted somewhere. A space where a tree stands and its roots are intertwined with toil, like hands making braids, linking each piece. It took time to discover what makes a flower, the extent of the beauty it carries and is yearning to shine. Sometimes it is only after the flower is cut that you learn about its loneliness, that you feel its calling, a sense of belonging, a connection to something, and a yearning for what could have been. I have felt it in my spine. I've always wanted to fly, yet I was preoccupied with pleasing instead of being. My body is mine, my experiences are mine, this moment is mine. And the woman in my bloodline fought for the chance for my opportunity. So I want for butterflies tattooed on my hip. I don't care if it's marking the body, because abuela and mother wouldn't turn me away, and neither would the butterflies. I want the needle to puncture my skin. I'll take the pain. Let it reverberate like Caribbean blues, unfeigned, profound, and unapologetic. Let it stick like Spanish moss, hanging like 2 wings, tired but undefeated. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Elaine.
Nice, Elaine.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nice.
I love it.
Shit, Elaine.
That's how you rip that.
Elaine Nadal, make sure that you look her up and look up her published poems, and everyone notice there's no rocking chair. Usually Elaine, when she rocks with her, she has her rocking chair, but nonetheless, we appreciate having you on. Thank you, Elaine. Next coming up is someone who I double-checked. Look, I double-checked. I made sure that this woman signed up. She actually signed up. It was not the phantom of the internet who signed her up this time. And it is Amanda. Amanda, let the people know where they can find you and the phantom of the internet online, and let's hear your poetry.
Thank you. This time I signed up, so there's no ghost in the house. Last time, not so sure. But anyway, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Medium, Amanda Ashley Villanueva. I'm gonna share 2 pieces today. First one is called Multiracial and Multisexual. A morenita born to a pale white mother who swears she's just a few shades lighter, who swears she will always be brighter. My mother is what we called un come mierda, willing to eat shit, willing to be proud of it, willing to throw it in my face. My mother will probably die a nervous, necked shipwreck. Will probably dance deep with dread during her last breath. And I still wish her peace. Still wish she wasn't a leech trying to slurp my blood, trying to murder my fun. She is why everyone that loves me is missing a mother. She is why it is easier for me to be the side bitch. She is why I only knew love to be suffocating. Like, you take up a lot of space, but you have a really gorgeous face. But I know you said you needed a break, but being alone is a safer thing. But we don't sleep until I am babied, hair braided, foot rubbed, unresolved stress, but I still an empress. And you breathe like you haven't told the truth since before you were born. You will probably die scorned. You will probably die unadored. You taste like you haven't had a home-cooked meal in decades. I am the only surprise gift who can tell your fake laugh from your real one. I am the spring seed that you can't put shit past. And on the day we are drunkenly forced to celebrate all the yous, my heart soothed by tunes that scream we just ain't cool like we used to. I used to carry your tragedies on me, like they housed my only identities. But I have choice, privilege, power, and I'll be damned if I don't use it. So that's that piece. And then the next one is really short. It's called You Are Kin, but I Will Kill You. I finally looked this motherfucker in the eye for the very first time in weeks, only to explicitly see that this explosive rage was never even about him. His suicide threats and my I wish a bitch would were just a tragic song and dance to a louder cry for help. And it'd be easier to say that he is to blame, that only he caused this, but we both know that's foolish because I have been born to a bloodline of men who lie about what they will provide and whose pussy they've been inside. You are kin, but I will kill you. I have learned many lessons the hard way. Ignore a red flag when it is small and watch it erupt into volcanoes melting away at your soul. There is no room for me inside a man who helped create 2 children, but still secretly hates women. For this, I thank God they are both boys. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for a man.
Holy shit, Amanda!
Hey,
Yes.
damn, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Bring that
Just drop that.
Man, that got gangster. She got gangster right there. And like I said, like we're gonna hear a lot of different sides about mom. I appreciate your bravery and sharing that, Amanda. Make sure you give her a follow. She's hooked on the Monday Night Online open mic, especially after the Phantom of the Internet signed her up, and now she's gonna keep signing up herself. That's what's up. Make sure also after everyone performs that you go and you check the chat because people are saying nice things about you. Real quick, because I know we had some people join us late. This is the Monday Night Online open mic. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You look up New Rican Poets Cafe. If you would like to join us, the Zoom number is there, 279-995-364. And you can follow me at Advocate of Words. When you spell words, that's with a Z at the end, because you know, poetic license. And I don't know why I used that picture. A little secret about that picture, that was a selfie. And I wasn't looking at anything in particular, just tried to be cool. Our signups begin 24 hours before the show on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. To sign up, visit newurican.org and you click full events calendar. After you click that, you would choose the date you're signing up for. So like next week, you would click on the 17th. And you would order an artist RSVP ticket that will place you on the open mic list. Only an artist RSVP ticket will get you onto the open mic list. It first come, first serve. We only got 35 slots. First 25 to sign up are guaranteed a spot. The next 10 are put on our waiting list. So let's keep going. Hopefully we get to our waiting list. Scott Pleasance is next. Where is Scott? Is he here? I don't see. Yo, I see him. There he is. Let me unmute Mr. Scott Pleasance. There he is. Scott, good to see you, brother. Let the people know where they can find you online, and then let's hear your poetry.
All right. You can find me on Instagram at I am poet33. And Amanda has such a nice looking face, but now I'm scared of her, man. She All right, but I got a piece that I'm gonna read for you, and it's called "For the Lady of the House." Every year about this time, I order a large bouquet of flowers. I send them to the same place, the same address, and attached is a simple note that requests that they are left for the lady of the house. The flowers are very particular and contain 6 amaryllis that are symbolic of beauty that is beyond measure, 6 asters, 3 that symbolize patience, and 3 more that symbolize elegance. There are 6 purple irises that represent wisdom and an offering of pure compliments. Now, the 18 arranged flowers are held together by 1 long stem pink rose and 1 long stem red rose that unequivocally are whispering gratitude, appreciation, and how much a love can mean. Did I mention that these are also handpicked from my personal garden, a garden that is cultivated in my mind's backyard, that is planted just beneath my feelings and just above my thoughts, that sometimes lays on the surface of my sentiments. Now, I never see the expressions when these flowers are received, and I questioned if they bring about a feeling of joy or sympathy. But my hope is that they do bring about a thought of appreciation, a thought that speaks through my heart's eye and shares the story of a son who dearly misses his mother. It's been about 20 years now, but the feelings remain clear and real. The beauty, the elegance, wisdom, gratitude, and appreciation has yet to waver. So I'll continue to send those flowers about this time every year to the same place, the same address, with a simple note for the lady of the house. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Scott.
Nice
Pleasant.
piece, Scott.
God.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't
Yeah,
think Cat ain't a
Tribute.
poet. Let me
Tribute.
Scott in the building. Dope, brother. Dope.
Scott Pleasance. I am Poet 33. Find him on Instagram. And this is why I want you to turn your cameras on, man. Like, that was so sincere, you know, like my screen had nothing but Scott Pleasance, and like I enjoyed his poem and the pacing, but then I also got to like see his face and like it's super genuine in his poem, and I felt it. Thank you so much, Scott. He's a mainstay here at the Monday Night Online Open Mic, and we are blessed to have him. Appreciate you, brother. My mom, this June will be 3 years, and it still feels like yesterday, man. So I appreciate that poem a lot more. I'm a little biased. I'm a part of the club that none of us want to be a part of. So nonetheless, let us keep moving on, and we are going now to the man who is the sidekick to the pink blanket, and that is Jeff Cottrell. Jeff, let the people know where they can find you online, and then the floor is yours.
That's all I am now. Is it just a sidekick? I can be found on jeffcottrell.com and on Facebook and Twitter and that kind of thing. And I had my poem, If It Happened Now, was recently published on the Dreaming Machine. So I'll put the link in that in the chat later on. So I guess this poem is kind of on theme because there's a mother in it. It's a kind of an homage to William Carlos Williams. Called This Is Also to Say. This is also to say. I have also eaten the leftover pizza that was beside the plums, and which you were going to microwave for lunch tomorrow. It was a bit stale, but I ate it anyway and washed it down with 2 of your Stellas. I also cooked and ate the white chickens beside that rain-glazed barrow that your upcoming family feast was probably depending upon. And I stomped on all those greeny flowers in your garden for the hell of it. And I fucked your wife. She was incredible, so sweet and so hot. I regret nothing. She screamed in twisted ecstasy, and then we laughed about your shortcomings. Now she wants to leave you, move in with me, and bear my kids. She will sue you for your house, half your money, and full custody of Brad. By the way, Brad hates you too. He thinks you are the dullest daddy. I will take him to Disneyland and then buy him a puppy. I have the money to do that, and you do not. So tough shit. This is also to say, I have written another parody of Carlos Williams. I tried to match his formatting, but probably did a lousy job. Forgive me. I was uninspired, so lazy, and so cheap. That was called This Is Also to Say.
Give it up for
Damn,
Jeff
Cottrell.
Cottrell.
Yeah, man.
Right, Jeff. Hey.
I love that, Jeff.
Jeff.
Smart.
Yeah, that was
Smart
dope.
guy.
Just punch.
You were warned, no censorship. I did not see that turn coming. JeffCottrell.com. Make sure you check him out. This dude is all kinds of awesome. I'm so happy he's part of the community. All right, let's keep it going. Michael Sindler is next. There he is, Michael Sindler. Let me unmute him.
Hello.
Michael, let the people know where they can find you or who you want to promote, and then let's hear your poetry, sir.
Yeah. I do actually have a feature tomorrow at Time to Arrive, and then I've got another one next month and I also want to make sure people know about Lighthouse Writers Center Lit Fest coming up in June. So lighthousewriters.org. So check it out, all you people out there in Zoom land. So yes, I'm not going to have a bunch of English professors come after me the way they will be coming after Cottrell any minute now. So I'm going to start with one about my mom. Like you, Advocate, mine's been gone for a few years now, and this is one I wrote near the end. It's called Instance. She remembers things, for instance, who I am, where she is. She's forgotten things forever. People, dates, and places. The food she liked to eat. The shows she liked to watch. None of them still matter. They all fade away in instants. She lies in her bed and wants to go home. She takes 2 bites of food and says she's done. She's still full of love, but can't remember who for. She's fading away. She's fading away. But there's still this instant, and that is my treasure. And then there are those women who are not actually your mother, but are so important to you, they're kind of like second mothers. And this is my cousin. Walking with Mina. Around the block from the red house, she holding my tiny hand lightly, loosely, so petite herself, she had barely needed to bend to look into my 5-year-old eyes. Kneeling by my side, pointing out what some would call weeds and brambles, but she saw as wonders, picking a tiny blossom, laying it flat in my smooth skinned palm, pulling twigs and dry grass together, punctuated with petals, pine straw, and bark on the sandy Carolina soil. Arranging them to form a tiny path, a rooftop, tree cover, and clouds, a fragile landscape, just like in her paintings. Subtle watercolor strokes merge with pasted fragments of flora, combine to make magical miniature tableaus, mirth, earth, and phantasm. The most common elements, oft overlooked, transformed, the makings of most marvelous inventions. Perhaps there was a touch of the magpie about her, eye attuned to treasure lost in plain sight. Nothing miserly, instead thriftful and resourceful, powered by recumbent imagination, careful observation, surrealist scenarios full of luck and pluck, flat silent spaces of pure zen. That twig, that petal, that seed, that thorn, each had its own story, and each played a role, part of a story laid upon the smooth, white, rippled stages of processed pulp, dried thin in rectangles. No thing, no matter how small or seemingly inconsequential or insubstantial, is without worth, without means to bring meaning to moment. Each fragment and sliver of matter on earth contributes, dances along in the continual act of being. Attuned, seeing scents set out on planet's endless carpet, collage of unceasing possibility, ever varying view, each treasure picked a new chance to point to perfection. Having shown me this giant, quiet way of seeing small, this ever altering elemental lesson, she took my hand again in her withered paper, brittle bone fingers, led me up the walk, brought me inside, set me by the window, and made me cocoa. Okay, thank y'all very much.
Unmute yourselves, give it a
Michael Sindler does it again. Oh, Michael, dope, man, dope.
Love that.
Lighthousewriters.org. Make sure you check that out. Michael Sindler has his feature tomorrow. He put all that information into the chat. Make sure that you guys go and grab that. Thank you, Michael. A mainstay here at the Monday Night Online Open Mic, especially that first poem, man. That first one that really touched me. Again, I'm a little biased. So I was really worried that people would be like afraid to share poems about like maybe like they had, you know, some disconnection with their mother or their mother passed or whatever. But like it seems like that's the theme right now. So if you have a I love you, mom, we had a healthy relationship poem, you're totally welcome here too. I wasn't originally worried about you guys, but now I may be. Okay, let's keep it moving. Next up is my 2021 Valentine, Mary Blenderman, representing the great state of Pittsburgh because it has Mary Blenderman in it. Mary, let the people know where they can find you, your website, hint, hint, and then let's hear your poetry.
Thank you so much for welcoming me from the great state of Pittsburgh. As you all know, it is its own state. My website is maryblenderman.com. It's Mary like the Virgin, Blender like the kitchen appliance, man with 2 N's.com. I revamped it. You can email me on it. Check it out. Let's see. Okay, 2 short pieces for you all tonight. The first one was a poem that I kept trying to write to like process this breakup, and I wrote it 9 times and wasn't happy with it. And then the 10th time it turned out. So yeah, here's that. Oh, and before I read, of course, if you would join me in taking a deep breath in and out. In the wake of devastation, you get hungry for beauty, but it took me a month to look where I should have looked. The cemetery, in the rain. Enough silence to fill your belly. Robins hopping on the verdant lawn, respectful in their ignorance. A headstone with my birthday. I believe they call that perspective. At least you are alive to be devastated. Meanwhile, the rain kept falling, pattering my jacket, feeding the moss, slowly erasing the agony of a freshly carved name. Grief is to walk home through rain, thinking only of how thirsty you are. So that's that one. And then I did write to the theme, and I realized like a couple of drafts in that my relationship with my mom is like more complicated than I thought it was. So yeah. Because I believe in the capaciousness of the world, enough space for contradictions both to touch the truth, I cannot tell you a simple story about my mother. She earned her master's degree in computer science in 1989 its thick gold frame the closest thing she has to a trophy, but she has never called herself a feminist. She grew up canning tomatoes barefoot, watching stars rise over the Ohio pines, but she never talked much about her job at NASA. Just hunched over the kitchen table, teaching me long division, a comet's tail of numbers streaking down the page. Always, she said with the voice of a prophet, all my girls are going to college. But she didn't foresee that I would come back a stranger the waiter called sir at the restaurant. She found a new church where women also gave sermons, but she still wanted me to wear a dress for Christmas Eve. She bought me button-down shirts, but they were always pink. She called my roommate my girlfriend and my girlfriend my friend, so I think she tried. But I can't hate her, because you can't hate someone for wanting to love you and not knowing how.
What an ending. Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Mary Blenderman.
Mary.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Mary.
Mary.
Amazing.
As
Oh,
always.
Mary. Dope. Dope. Dope.
That ending was, that second poem was awesome. That ending was awesome too. Mary Blenderman, when you spell Blenderman, that's with 2 N's at the end, maryblenderman.com. Go check out the website. And I am on like 2 hours of sleep. Pittsburgh Estate. I can't believe I said that. And it's being recorded. Great, 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 great. I've done worse though. I've done worse at shows. I'm not gonna share. We're gonna keep going because Elemental's next, a great poet himself. You can check him out, elemental.com. When you spell elemental, take out the T and put it in the number 2. Elemental, it's good to see you, brother. Floor is yours.
Always good to see you, Advocate. Peace and blessings to all the poets, to everyone who came before me, everyone who's rocking after me tonight. It's great to see you all. I'm here representing one half of the Storm Gods, so let's get it. This is for moms, man. Let's get it. I love my mama every day. The way people are waking up in the morning to the smell of freshly brewed beginnings with a hint of possibilities and a warm piece of get your life together. I don't really need a reason to tell her. Her voice is the closest thing to the sound of God I know I can trust to lead me in the direction of the dream she said I can always achieve whenever I'm ready. It was Anita Baker that filled our Saturdays with songs of angels. You couldn't tell me my mama wasn't one of them. Taught me to keep my head in the clouds and write my own wings, because she would always keep me grounded, my fuse box to use thoughts to remove locks on doors that sought to cage me in categories. I'm a stargazer. Speak extraterrestrial metaphysics and cryptic scribblings, sentient scriptures, alien in human skin. When everyone laughed at my abstract, she bought me canvas to scratch out this psychosis with paintbrush on fingertips. My grandmother, 85, with her silver mane, part landmark, part alarm clock, said, stay awake. Don't allow your thoughts to get lost and not find your way back to fresh bay leaves and the biggest pots of spaghetti you can imagine. Filled my stomach and my soul with all the love I can hold. These women remind me there are people in their graves who don't get to see their dreams. Live yours, because I believe in you. I bleed, they cry. I hurt, they cry and cry. Liquid pages poured from beautiful eyes set in troubled brows, humming hymns and singing Angelou blues of birds that climb to find new skies and defy the laws of wonderful from a long line of spectacular. These women on the front line of every fight, from home to courtroom, black sleeping car porters to defense lawyers, on the bridge to my everywhere, catching the bus to foreign lands, walking like Olympians to reach the finish line before the rooster can catch you. This is for you. Double schedule shifts and overtime, missing every game, but doubling down on every shining star in my eyes. They told me, tune into your frequency, broadcast your truth on pirate signal buried in windpipe painting poetic prose, because they told me to go as far as I could go, then go past that. My mama had a praying grandmama, just as hers before her and hers before that. Strong women with strong roots, plantation education turned learning into churning out a future, surviving rice and beans and salt pork, days work, cooking and cleaning for those whose affinity is not for being nurturers and lovers and fighters and poets and writers and fearless spirits who gave birth to change. You are appreciated. Miracle workers with wrecking ball tears, making poems from this rubble, building new reasons to smile in the aftermath of life. You are appreciated every day.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for.
Oh, hell yes.
Amazing.
That was straight fire.
Brutal. That was amazing.
There you go, bro.
Straight fire.
Legacy piece there. I love it. I love it. Make sure you look him up. Elemental. When you spell elemental, remove the T, put in the number 2. He is a mainstay here at the Monday Night Online Open Mic. Brother, thank you so much for adding that energy. I love it. I love it. Okay. Next, make sure all of you are checking the chat too. People keep saying nice things. Also, Marissa Prada, I sent you a message. Check the chat. Hurry up. Okay. Next coming up, the apple of my eye. The woman who gets me going, and what you don't know, the only reason I still host this open mic, because I was going to quit so many months ago, and that is Catherine Badan. Catherine, let the people know where they can find you online, and let's hear your poetry.
I'll put it in the chat after, and oh, I'm nervous about this one. I don't know if y'all are ready. Here goes. M-O-M, mom. Divine, beautiful, eternal mother, yes. But my own mother? No. Divine, compassionate mother of the universe, yes. But my actual birth mother? No. Great, loving earth mother, yes. But my individual abusive genetic mother? No. M-O-M, malicious, obstreperous, monster mother, bitch from the underworld, rich loser. I hated her so much for using a tree switch on me. I hated her so much for not really ever loving me. She was too narcissistic to love anyone. Plus, she didn't really know how to love at all. Smelling of alcohol, she'd bend down to kiss me at night with a big smack in my ear. Ew, malignant, odorous manipulator, mother, untreated Gemini, alcoholic, schizophrenic, and rageaholic mistress of mistresses. She used men to get money for her ego, and they called her El Toro at the Los Angeles Country Club, where she'd go eat by herself. She'd start out cool and collected, displaying the class and breeding she was born to, flashing the exquisite jewelry she'd acquired throughout her non-illustrious, misshapen life. But she'd end up screaming and yelling, her eyes flooding with angry tears, cursing out anyone who got in her way. El Toro, I can see her now, throwing her weight around like a caged bull in an exclusive china shop, the kind of shop you need to make an appointment to enter. Nowhere to run now, baby, nowhere to go. Martha and the Vandellas sang the story of my life. I used to sleep with the radio on at night just to not have to hear my mother and equally horrid stepfather fight about his constant mistress, Irene, who called him every single night. So thank God for little Stevie Wonder, Bob Dylan, the Beatles, Martha and the Vandellas, and Motown. Thank God for music. Malicious, onerous madness, mother. You could smell her disease coming at you from a mile away. You could sense her evil, even if you didn't want to, when she looked so good on the outside, but reeked of hate and lost loves on the inside. My mother was such a first-rate, entitled, high-class bitch. My grandmother called her the bad seed from birth, throwing loud fits of jealousy and rage if she didn't get her way. They had to buy the exact same presents when it was my aunt's birthday. They had to dress them in the exact same dresses. My mother was a sick, twisted, irreverently insane, unwell, and disturbed human being, disturbed from the very beginning of her sad, rejected, and resentful life. Murderous, overbearing, multi-personality mother. I was scared of her, so terrified of her. I used to have nightmares of her swooping down on me in the downstairs living room, riding on her witch's broom in the middle of the murky night. She grabbed me by my wrist, digging her fingernails into my sensitive skin and breaking the skin to where it bled, saying little girls are to be seen and not heard, yelling into my face, spitting thick alcohol-laden drops of liquid hate. And if you ever do that again, I'll give you what's coming, my friend, she'd say with a joyful glint of the coming abuses in her voice. Yes, I was afraid of her soul, afraid of how she'd robbed me of my own voice for years, for decades. So now it's a challenge to shut me up, because I am, after all, making up for lost time. Morally, obstetrically deprived mother who went into murderous convulsions on the delivery table as she had me. So they not only gave me her ether, but they shot her up with curare to stop her convulsions so she wouldn't die, which means I also had curare. And so is it any wonder I need to have 2 cups of coffee just to feel alive in the mornings? And is it any wonder each day I awake and wonder who I am and where I am and why I'm even here? Mistrustful, overbearing, miserly love mother, lacking any warmth or compassion or the necessary emotional support. Instead, so jealous of me, she'd tear me down and verbally, psychologically abuse me at every opportunity, as if the physical damage wasn't enough, as if the lack of daily love wasn't enough. Morbidly opulent, machinated molester mother, stealer of souls and of all my hopes, dreams, and goals. MOM equals maleficent, one-of-a-kind mobster mother. She pretending to be my mother, but instead she was a total horror. I will never forget you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Catherine.
Wow, Catherine.
Hey,
Major
Cat.
That
pace.
was amazing. That was amazing.
Where she's the apple of my eye. I love it. Catherine Badan, Badin. Make sure you go to her website, catherinebadan.com. She's a photographer too. She's awesome. Untreated Gemini, loved it. And it's a challenge to shut me up. Advocate of words. I so understand, except it's more so because of my father. I love that. catherinebadan.com. Go check her out. Don't look too hard at her though. She's accounted for by me, Catherine Badan. Okay, next coming up, we have Ed Poetastic. Where is Mr. Ed Poetastic? Is he here? I don't see Ed. I saw him in the chat before, but I don't see him here on Zoom. Is he here? Yep, Elemental's telling me he's here. He's pointing. Oh, there he is. I got him. Okay, let me. There we go. Ed, let the people know where they can find you online. Then let's hear your poetry, brother.
Sure, no problem. You can find me at Ed Foreman on Facebook. You can find me at edforeman92 and Gmail. I hope everyone's ready for a fantastic and magnificent time. Let me show you my worlds of rhymes. All right, let's begin. This is called Motherly Love. When I was a boy, you were my nurse, teacher, and friend. Now that I'm older, I still can't fully comprehend. How could one woman always be there for me? She did what she could, even I could see. We're the fruit, while moms are the trees. Moms are always the busy of the worker bees. There is no love like a mother's heart, a love that lives and breathes in our art. A mother's love never changes for all time. It only gets stronger and stronger while it shines. Mom need to be celebrated each and every day. Without them, where could we run, stay, or play? If you don't have your mom but own your dad, it's okay. Love them too and don't be sad. Moms have hearts full of devotion, dedication, and affections that never ends. A river of love always flows over and over again. We're a big part of her while she's a big part of you. I think that's why we're red and rarely blue. Mom, you're not just my mother, but my dad. You're an experience that any could ever had. Moms, thank you for not stop loving us. Don't worry, all this love is going to make us bust. Moms, there are no easy words for how much we love you. I hope these words resonate and stick inside you like glue. Thank you so much for answering our big and little calls. Your immeasurable love, moms, we thank you for it all. Thank you.
Oh wait, I thought you don't got a second piece. I thought you had a second one that you wanted to do. Hold on, let me unmute everyone. Everyone, give it up for Ed. Sorry for that, Ed. Everyone, give it up for Ed.
Yeah, fantastic. All right.
Oh shit, man.
Right.
Well, I do have 2 jokes if you want.
Go ahead. You told me you had the jokes. Let him loose real quick, Ed.
Sure, no problem. Why did the doctors put the bat in the insane asylum? He was acting too batty.
Boom. Okay. You got one more?
Why did the prince dump Sleeping Beauty because she kept sleeping on his calls.
But Ed Poetastic. Thank you, brother.
Man.
Ed Poetastic. He told me earlier he had some jokes. That's why I didn't unmute everyone right away. I'm glad we got to hear them, man. Those are like dad jokes, all right? I got a cup for Father's Day last year from my kid that said dad jokes are rad jokes, and they are, because I'm a dad. All right, Aram is next. We actually have Great Scott. We have a pleasant gesture. Right now, Andy Markirk was supposed to come up, but he switched his spot with Aram Oscar.
You got it.
I did?
Yeah.
Good. I've been working on it. This is going to be Aram's second time with us on Monday night. And those of you how know, I like to try to get people's names right. It's important. So Aram, let the people know where they can find you online, and then let's hear your poetry.
Sweet. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Midnight Free Spirit, and that's the only place I'm on right now. So if you fancy that, you can give me a follow. My poem is tangentially related to my mother, kind of, but it's tangentially related to my mother. It's called Birds. So here we go. I wait for you, sinful and sorry, in the finest hour to see you in all your glory. I wait for you, watering my garden, hearing your call through angels' sirens in the space of my mind. I wait for you, oh God, oh, I wait. With my tattered slave costume on a Sunday in the rain, sleet cleaning out the clutter in my heart, scraping the sides of a container with a painful push. My hands are weak at the work of your underground efforts. My soul weeps at the sin of my own creation. I chase elation, medicine in the sad streets I see, for the lack of my mother and father and the lack in me. I fill it with weeds and wait for you to tell me that the devil has put a spell on me. Angels breathe into the hollow space where abundance used to be, the icy chill of the reality of mistakes made, paved by my forefathers, bottles clanking, deafening, silencing the chimes of a sacred calling in the distance at the top of a tower where God sings. And as my past drowned in smoke and mirrors, I don't want to miss the call to you, the call to jump. And I hope, dear God, oh, you'll be there when I choose to fall into the graceful arms of a bird. And I know heaven has a weight limit, so I sit here at the airport cliff of my heart, mountaintop 11337, tossing away every extra weight baggage claim. I don't want to be too heavy to fly, because I know if I bring these chains, then I will die. Take them from me now. I don't want a single one. With the grace of undoing, let me come undone, a red string in space, looking for a ride on the back of a dove. Make me small, oh God, oh Thumbelina. I am a tiny speck in this garden. Take me to heaven. Soften me so I can sing in a flower datura, the good death with a pink dress. No dark towers, no distress. Let me put the bottle to rest and catch my flight sober as the first time I made a wish on a sky full of stars before I ever knew dark hours existed in the spectrum of my timeline. Take me white feather, bare bones, naked the same way that I came here, and tattoo the words on my subconscious mind. But darling, what if you fucking fly?
Ooh, unmute yourself. Give it up for Aram.
Damn, Aram. All right.
Very nice. That was really nice.
Yo.
Yeah, real tight.
Yo.
That whole thing about the chains not wanting to be too heavy to fly. Oh, Aram, I said it last week. You have to give up your Mondays and come with us every week now. Thank you, Aram. Make sure also you put in your information in social media so that people can follow you. Midnight Free Spirit. I love it. I love the social media handle. I love the poetry. All right. We are now going to our cult leader. I also want to say thank you to everyone. We are running really well. We're going to be able to get to our waiting list if we keep up the pace that we're going. But right now, like I said, we're going to our cult leader who had to skip out on us last week, a little bit under the weather, and that is Nick Paleologos. Nick, let the people know where they can find you. Then let's hear your poetry.
You can find me at the Real Nick PIG, that's THERALNICKP, and my handle. And also a little announcement. June 2nd, first ever show I'm hosting with The Word Is Right. Every first and third Wednesday. So I figured I'd get that out there. And I also have a feature coming up. I believe it's June 5th, I believe it is, Mr. Speaker. But yes, so let me get into my poetry. It's a lot lighter than my normal stuff. This first one is a letter. Mom, I know you are asleep. Fatigue demons control your body, but you're still the Wonder Woman, the Diana Prince, cleaning up the bullshit, innocence, keeping innocence. You deserve more than a day and more than any grain of time could ever give. You deserve a universe. You are the Hera with no need for Zeus. You are a great woman that's still here, that no MS, no multiple sclerosis could ever take away. Love you, Mama. Happy Mother's Day. That was one. And this one I did in Ron Mark Thompson's workshop last week. This one's called For Mom. Mom, you show me love like a hummingbird to nectar. Show me how deep it is like the Amazon forest. You've concealed your pain for years that you can only hide it for so long before your face shows it. You probably won't see this on the other side of the computer screen, but your son does love you. You are magnificent. Your dedication is worth more than any green money, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin could ever value to. Your kindness is delicious as hummus. You've held me together like a rubber band for all these years. Happy Mother's Day. You will always be my mom. Whether at home or in hospital, you give me strength. You taught me well. Now let me teach the world. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Nick.
Hey,
Yes, Nick.
How you doing, Nick? Dope.
All right.
Way to go, Nick.
Dope.
Way to go, Nick.
Dope.
Thank you.
Nick Paleologos, you can find him on Instagram at The Real Nick P. Nick, congratulations on getting the host. It is not easy. I'm just very good because I make it look easy. Now I'm joking. It's not easy, but congratulations. It's going to be a whole new experience. You're going to learn how to improv. It's just going to help your performance. I'm looking forward to it, brother. Next coming up is another person who hosts their own open mic. In fact, she's got her hands in a bunch of different cookie jars, as I like to say, because she does her own podcast, interviews, open mics, workshops. She goes to other people's open mics and kills that she's a feature, and that is Trisha De Jesus. I'm trying to unmute you, Trisha. It's not there, it is.
Hello.
Trisha, let the people know where they can find you, and then let's hear your poetry.
Instagram, Finn_Bell, PHYNNE_BELLE. I was going to create something new today, but yesterday was just shitty for me. Super emotional. So I'm going to share something that I created about a year ago, when my mom was going through the worst of her dementia. Right before she passed away. She passed away the 8th of this month, last year. Sorry. She passed away the 8th of the month last year, so it's still fresh. And so this is called Before She Became the Shade Itself. An ode to my mama that comes too late. Taking inventory of the parts of me that constitute my personality, my strengths and fears, and my accomplishments, and yes, my failures, I eventually find myself looking toward the women who have featured in my life and helped to form who I have developed into and who I have become. Many women who I have met or whose lives I have followed over the years pass fleetingly through my thoughts like misty mental catalog. Miss Ellison, my 3rd grade teacher who helped develop my love of reading. B, whom I met while working at Barnes & Noble in the late 90s. She was always interested in my thoughts, my burgeoning creative process, my writing. Becca, who combines creativity with kindness and courage and wears it like a delicate, warm, twinkling shawl above her. In this delightful carousel of beloved faces and names, I can pluck out poets and artists and even a few Disney princesses like vibrant blossoms who beckon my muse, who make me blossom in turn. Coursing deeper into my emotional makeup, I'm able to dissect and pull away layers of time and experience. And at the core is the woman at the starting point, my mother, my mama, who affects you with more impact than the person where conception was made possible. Whether you have no relationship with your mother, or a difficult one, or a very loving one. You cannot deny her presence or a lack of one had the ability to imprint a powerful impression on you. I sincerely hope with all my heart, for your sake, that her influence was a positive and beautiful force. Where I am in my relationship with my own mama is a fragile dance that has sorrow-filled movement and some bursts of energy and hope. Breath out. There, I said it. I typed it out in front of me on this white space. Now the next, more difficult sentence. My mama has been sick since last year and the disease is only progressing. My mama has always been an inspiration for me, even during those times of my life. The rebellious earliest years for certain that I didn't quite appreciate the scope of how she formed me. She taught me in her unassuming fashion to be giving, to be curious, to not give up. She let me know that it was okay to be scared sometimes. There is a sincere absence of courage without first understanding about a sensible degree of caution and fear. She is not perfect. She was never perfect. No one is. And in my low points, I saw that as a defect, a weakness. My bounce of anger would hold that against her and hold her to an impossible standard of motherhood, of womanhood, whom no one can measure and not come up short. Motherhood, my motherhood, was yet another of her unexpected gifts to me. It endowed me with a better empathy and respect for the challenges she was up against. I finally understood. She wasn't perfect. She instead was fallible and very human, and that was beautiful to realize, because I was too. It is never a reason for shame. It is a reason for evolving. My mom is sick. I am lost, a child once more who is confused and adrift without her guidance. She forgets and remembers me in turn in these days, and what terrifies me most is that what she won't ever recall what she means to me, how precious she is, how she gave me life, made me live, remains at the nexus of my life. I have to be strength itself, or I do not honor her at all. She's the lifeblood, the umbilicus of my inspiration still. Did she know that? Does she keep that truth close to her? Does it whisper to her along with the other voices that now crowd around? She seems to fade around the edges with every moment, but I want that knowledge, that my love, my gratitude to remain. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give Trisha some energy.
Oh, okay, Trisha.
That was
Lovely,
beautiful.
Trisha.
What a
How do I met
tribute.
you?
Beautiful.
Thank
Oh
you.
my
We love you so
Beautiful.
much.
So much support. Thank
We
you.
love you so much.
We love you.
Absolutely.
Jesus, you can find her at Finn_Bell. You know, we talk about like poetry and creating safe spaces, and we talking about like creating a space so that like poets could be honest and at times be vulnerable, but creating art is not safe at all. Your artists are constantly asked to face their fears or to relive certain emotions and to be given. So thank you so much, Trisha. Trisha is a solid writer, solid poet. She knows what she's up. I think she's also an editor. I haven't spoken to her about it. I think she's an editor too. So she knows how to dig. She knows to form all of that. Give her a follow, Finn_Bell, PHYNNE_BELLE, Finn Bell. Now, next up, we're supposed to have Gwen C. But Great Scott, we have a pleasant gesture. Yes, earlier we heard from Scott Pleasance, and he was the first person to ever give up his spot for someone else. And every time someone does that, we mention it because it's a trend that we started here. So Gwen C was supposed to be next, but she has given it up for Marissa Prada. And Marissa Prada was in our highlight reel that I posted this morning on my Instagram. You should have checked it out at Advocate of Words with a Z. Also, Trisha was in it as well. So make sure that you guys go check it out. It was funny. It was about last week's theme, laughter. Marissa, let the people know where they can find you because we know you two got your hands in a bunch of cookie jars. And then let's hear your poetry.
Yes, thank you so much. Trisha, I'm going to call you later or call me later. I love you and I'm here for you. I am a poet from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I co-authored The Word Is Right, WRITE. And of course, I launched a small press this year, redorgreenbooks.com. Red is READ. And we're launching 10 incredible poets this summer. So please come and find me on Facebook and Instagram. Gwen, oh my God, I can't believe she gave her seat up for me. Thank you so much. So this poem I'm gonna read. I was trying to get a picture of my daughters in the background while I was doing all this behind the scenes stuff. I wasn't able to do that, but this is a tribute to my two children, my two daughters. Deep breaths to slow the sharp catches in my chest. I imagine you, my darling girls, your tiny hands upon my face, shushing me to settle upon your innocent voices. I imagine your curly hair pressed against my face as I hug your tiny bodies, your warm skin so soft under my nose. You are the safe place I escape to in all the times I feel alone or scared or cold. I feel your tiny hands on my face, your baby smiles in my eyes, and loving laughter in my heart. You too are the breath in my chest that forces this broken heart to beat. Another day, another way, to find a peace beyond this life, beyond the confines of motherhood and neglected I do's. For my love for you runs deeper than any man's, deeper than any experience or promise made. My blood is your blood. My breath is your breath. My love is your love. Our love, always. Thank you.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Mama Marissa.
Let's go, Marissa. Go. Go.
Happy Mother's Day.
It's a beautiful mommy poem. Such a beautiful mommy poem.
Beautiful.
Make sure you go follow Mama Marissa Prada on Facebook. There you can find out all of the different cookie jars she's got her hands in. And shout out to the Withdrawn who's gonna go make cookies now because I kept making that reference. So, and make sure you go make some extra for your mama, Withdrawn. Look up Marissa Prada on Facebook. Next up, we are going to a man who should not be eating cookies right now because it's breakfast time for him, and that's Unmesh Mohitkar because he's all the way out in India. I am so happy that my man is safe right now because all the reports over here in the States are saying things are crazy out there. So I'm happy to see you, Unmesh. I hope all of you and your loved ones are okay. Let the people know where they can find you and your newly published book. And then let's hear your poetry, brother.
Thanks a lot, Advocate. Yeah, things are improving. We are safe. Hopefully things will get better. You can follow me on Instagram, Unmesh Mohitkar, on Facebook, Unmesh Mohitkar. I have got a book, Light Shadow Life, on Amazon. And I've got an open mic. If you want to listen some Hindi poetry, English poetry, Indian poetry, you can join me on 8 p.m. India time. That is 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So this is something for my mom, but my mother says that this is for my dad. So it's okay. I will just read it out. I was full of doubts, falling again and again. Clockwork of failures, world kicking me like a football from pillar to post. She never doubted me, my abilities, my future. More than me, even now, she has got unwaverable trust in herself. throughout her life. Right from the childhood, life has thrown curveballs at her, which sometimes she dodged, sometimes she just fell down just to get up. Being a girl, daughter of a poor farmer, was not easy. Farming is a glamorous job only for the non-farmers. Small farmers lives in debt and dies in debt. Going to college was rare for boys, leave aside for a girl, and she did it. Found her world in books. Books took her to places where nobody has gone, reading and memorizing poetry from known and unknown poets, an escape where she can fly to places she loved, visit dreams she dreamt. She refused to be bullied by the world, became a teacher, taught students more about life than the deadpan syllabus. My father, a teacher, handsome man, with the gift of the gab, who gave my mother wings to fly. Together, they created our world, our wonderful family. She has got rare talents. She can speak before an audience of hundreds of people, spellbound them, inspire them, recite poems from nowhere, read non-stop for days. Daredevil. I have seen her facing an angry mob at 2 a.m. in the night, or going alone to a police station to complain about a goon. Even now, she is full of energy and strong. Her only weakness are her children and her love, her husband. She's a big fan of him, adores him, though keeps chiding him, never misses a chance to express her love to him. An inspiration and motivation. Even now, when I feel weak and hopeless, I look at her. I see hope, unflinching confidence, devotion, and the will to protect her family at any cost. And the will to protect her family at any cost. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Unmesh Mohit.
Oh, that was nice one, Mesh. I loved it.
Oh,
Passion was
dope.
there, as always. Love that.
Now we understand why Unmesh is the way he is, because of Mama Unmesh. That's what's up. Unmesh Mohikar, go look him up on Facebook. Mohikar Unmesh on Instagram. Brother, thank you so much for always adding your energy. And I like that, man. I like that. Mom finding her world in books. Dad is a teacher, gift the gab, gave her wings. I like it. I like it. All right. Sarah Erin is next. But I don't see Sarah. I haven't seen her all night, so I don't think she's here, which means we're going to move on to Mr. Tesosomok, who I did see. There he is with his fresh haircut. And we mentioned farmers. Well, Mr. Tesosomok is a farmer. And as I said last week after he did his gangster poem, you don't mess with farmers. They are strong as hell. Mr. Tesosomok, let the people know where they can find you online, and let's hear your poetry, brother.
All right. You can catch me on Instagram under Gaseous2019. And I am ready to go on theme. Ready? 365 flutes. Grandma, gray in the afternoon by the kitchen, evening Cimmerian by the altar. She talks of 365 flutes, of how the hacendados have forced us to forget, how our own people have asked to forget. To forget 365 flutes in memory of our songs, in memory of privileged daily life. She hands me the knife Grandpa stopped using because the blade had been used down. With copper hands, she shows how to strip the jade bamboo shaft, peels away yellow leaves and white saplings. She says, cuarto de vara is how long we should cut the body of each flute. Sometimes we don't have a choice. The natural segments connect too short or long. She holds the tubular body, talks about the relationship between cylindrical width and segmental hole spacing. I try to put my mechanical skills to use, but still can't compare to her equinoctial knife ability. She first cuts the mouth hole, cleans it, sands it, then she blows on it, pours candle wax into the hole, blows on it again, makes it a thumb hole, checks and adjusts, finishes making the additional holes. I try to finish mine, but I just can't get all the notes to quite fit right. She pulls her flute and I stop to listen. Grandma is the wind's instrument. She plays the songs inside of me, tells me I ever learned to make fine flutes and play all the songs of our people. In May, we take all 365 flutes and break them, use them as kindling for the fires. She tells me we break the flutes not to forget how to make them, not to forget how to play our songs, not to forget.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Mr.
Wow.
Wow,
That's
wow, wow,
right.
wow.
Wow, Mr. Tess.
Tessa Somo does it again.
Mr. Tessa Somok, you can find him at Gaseous 2019 on Instagram. I know some people like to call him Professor. I like to call him a bard amongst poets. How do you stand out in a room full of poets? And he does it. Mr. Tessa Somok, make sure you give him a follow. He too is also on our highlight reel. Those of you who got the email from me that signed up, the link to that highlight reel is there. And you can see there's a couple of lines from him and why I talk about like this dude is gangster. He may have gone nice and soft right there in that poem, but this dude is gangster and he likes Columbia neckties. So make sure you check that out. Mr. Tessa Somok. Okay, next coming up is Mr. Speaker. And he is all dressed up. Wait, where did he go? I saw him earlier. Where are you, Mr. There he is. He is looking dapper right there, man. Looking dapper, Mr. Speaker. I know, I think Nick Paleologos is going to be featuring for your next show. Let the people know where they can find you online, all that information, and let's hear your poetry.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, somewhere on Facebook, somewhere on Instagram. Just look for Mr. Speaker. And let's go in, because I got two. One for being birthed into poetry and one for my birth mother. All right. I love poets. I love being in the company of poets, people who tell it like it really is, storytellers, writers, speakers, communicators, and authors are individuals who make you laugh, cry, or think deeply. Some use poetry to preach, while I use poetry to breach gaps of ignorance as I attempt to reach. Then once I have your attention, baby, I will teach through spoken word, which is verbal speech. Minds open, heads down, pens up, words flowing, brains storming, sentences forming, hearts warming, poems are informing, people transforming while poets are performing. There are finger snappings and some are clapping, but no one's napping. Dreamers dream, singers sings, while pilots take flights. When all else fails, put me in a company of people who think and write. Now, Mama, I listened. Mama, I listened to you when you spoke. I listened to you when you yelled, and I listened when you cried. Mama, I listen to you when you spank me, when you work long hours and as you thank God for everything. Mama, I listen to you when you would not let me fail and when you refuse to let me quit. I also listen to you when you would not accept that I was educationally slow, and I listened while you smiled as I received my master's degree. Mama, I listen to you when others would not. I listen to you when others hurt you. I also listen to you as you sang and as you showed me how to pray as you taught Sunday school. See, Mama, I really listened. As you went to work early every day and as we never missed church and as you taught me right from wrong and as you showed me tough love. Mama, I listened. Mama, I wrote this for you and others to see that because I listened to you, now hundreds and hundreds listen to me. Now listen, now look at what listening to you has done for me. Mama, I listened.
Ooh, give it up and let Mr. Speaker know you just listened.
Yes,
Favorite shit.
I love that one. I
that.
heard both of them,
Go,
especially that second.
go, Mr. Speaker,
That was
go.
so good.
I love it.
Oh,
Listen,
Go.
we hear you.
Wow.
Mr. Speaker, I listen to you and now hundreds listen to me. I like to say that if we ever went to war, we'd all be following Mr. Speaker. He's that type of dude that you'd run into a brick wall for. Make sure you look him up, MrSpeakerInc.com. When you spell ink, that's INK.com. MrSpeakerInc.com. Thank you, brother. Looking dapper too, man. Looking sharp, man. I did mom teach you how to dress? Do you listen to her too? Looking sharp. Okay, next coming, he's giving me the head nod. Yep, I listened. Next coming up is a mama herself, and that is Jen Monique. Let me unmute her. I see your son popping in and out, man. He's curious. I hope you're covering his ears when some of our poets are being dirty. So, Jen, let the people know where they can find you online. Then let's hear your poetry.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the chat after the poetry, and don't worry, he's asleep. I have 2 poems. They will be short and sort of sweet. This one's called Mommy Why. This is the blood that runs through my veins, not the ghetto or the dysfunctional family ties. I am not that girl not knowing who her daddy was till she was 16. Mad because I had to go looking for him all on my own in secret. I am not the girl crossing both her parents off by the time she was 20. It is in this museum, the paintings with vibrant colors by the wall, the jazz band playing on the stage. They sing and play to my soul. The spoken word jams that take me away from the welfare buildings and the project life. I'm home right here in the Bronx. And all I know are of summer days hanging out in on the fire escapes, making sure my brothers were taken care of and kept entertained. As mommy played music about her upbringings through Canciones de la Isla Bonita in the background, I wait. I look around and I wait. But wait a minute. I am a woman in my 30s. And the ghetto didn't show me what I see before my eyes now. When I was so impressionable then, so long ago, why, mommy? Why did you keep me uneducated and uncultured? I remember the fights and the arguments when you wouldn't let me sing in the school choir, when dance classes took up too much time away from limpiando la casa. House parties were the only place I could capture music that touched my soul. And paintings from the Last Supper and old houses hidden in the forests of Puerto Rico were the only taste of art I was allowed. Mommy, did you know then all that you kept me from? I am discovering a world anew. And I'm mad because after all these years, all the torment of being the oddball in the family, the weird one for not knowing what made me so different from all the others, I must get this passion from my absent father. I don't know, but this jazz and freestyle art, poetry readings, my heart is on fire. My God, I feel it running through me. The place where I finally belong, a language that others understand, where using sophisticated words were a way of getting insulted for being a smartass or getting slapped for talking back. Mommy, you were intelligent, this I know. You helped me with my reading, my penmanship, and science work. I just don't understand. There's this culture beyond what I have always imagined. Mommy, you taught me to be proud of only the limited things I knew. Never pushing me to find out more, to go beyond the horizon, to reach far and wide. And now that I am getting older, a full-grown adult to make my own decisions, you finally say the words I'd hoped you'd always say. Go, mija, and don't stop. Keep going, mija. Now's your time. Thank you. There's another poem I have. Hold on, I'm sorry. It's a second one. Let me just find it. So this one is brand new and brand spanking new. And so it may sound a little unfinished because I didn't know how to finish it just yet. So, but here we go. I was 32 when my son was born, the same age my mother was when she had me. It's a little nerve-wracking to think about anything being parallel to that of my mother. I spent much of my years trying to be anything and anyone other than who my mother was and is. I struggle with the thought of this poem being about her, because I am a mother now, and this poem should be about me. I've arrived. Granted, I've repeated the single parenting generational curse, sadly. And yes, without this poem being about my mother and her insufficiencies as a mother, I hold that resentment in full. I'm still learning the hard way when it comes to boys now that I have a precious prince of my own. Don't tell me what to do with my son. I will not abuse him like you did us. But that was good advice. Damn, how? No, nope, never mind. This poem is not about my mom. I am a mother. I am a mother now with little idea of how to go about it other than trial and error. But hell if I will end up alone and unwanted by my son. I will never understand the unwanting of your own children after having them. But that is not me. My son gave me the life I've always wanted. He looks to me with loving eyes, with a rebel stance, and a giggle hidden under his sweet hugs. It terrifies me not to love my son, to tell him that every so often, to bless him at every turn outside. I get to call myself his mother, and my pride and joy calls me mommy. That is all I've ever needed.
Mute yourselves and give it up for Mama Jen.
Let's go, Jen. Dope, Jen. Let's go.
Nice piece.
They're beautiful.
Jen Monique, she has become addicted. I think this is like her 4th week in a row with us. Jen, make sure you put your contact information, your social media handles into the chat so that people can follow. Aw, she's what is it? A boy mom? Is that what it's called? Boy mom? Is that what we say? A boy mom? Okay. Although her kid's in Little League and he plays for the Mets. God. But our next poet, he would like that because he's a Mets fan, and that is Thomas Connor. Let me.
Yo, why you always hating on my Mets, fam?
I'm not, man. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to garner some empathy for you because we know
Wow.
you live a hard life as a Mets fan.
Wow. I get you. Well,
With that being said, and my Yankees having a better record than the Mets now, Thomas, let the people know they can find you online. And I know you got something special lined up. Wait, I unmuted the extra person. They just muted.
Hold on, I got a small one, and then you can unmute the other extra person. All right.
All right, got you.
Real small one. My mother was a magi, handcuffed by poverty, trapped in the clutches of a caste. Her talent for using roots vast. She crafting salves and ointments. No appointments needed. She mended and kneaded her words with herbs, deflecting death with every prayer in her breath. She rebooting your immunity. My mother, a sanadora, crafting dirt so holy her Ash Wednesday was every day. Yet she could not stop herself from passing away.
All right, Thomas, I'm unmute them. That was a good poem, by the way. I don't mean to cut you off. I unmuted your partner, and quickly let the people know where they can find you online.
Yes, Thomas Connor at Facebook and TAC7371 at Instagram. So my partner's gonna go first.
What up? What's poppin'? What's going on? I'm bombing it. So we're doing another collaboration. And this one is entitled Advocate of Words. Memory gifted me with the moment poetry became my reality. I remember it fondly. Can still smell the distinct scent of high school boys snaking through teenage laments and books bounded in what we were told was meant to be a library. High school in the hood seldom left the opportunity for vulnerability out in the open, dangerous to let your soul catch wind, and yet I began there, on oblong circle of personal space, the only thing separating me from the rest of the freaks. Taking a deep breath before establishing my pace.
Memories gifted me psalms and sonnets, giving vision to a voice once silent. My pen and anxiety tussled in silence. Fear of a place I've never been, finding myself pushed and pulled by a pen. My hands go willingly. I guess they knew more about me than I did. Reflexive in my writing, going in and out of time with Maya. I became one with Gaia. These words mutating into balance, becoming celestial in their shape. I automatic in my writing. My victory is me finding me. I now live a montage of a dream deferred, interred into a sunken place that I now feel comfortable with, living tethered to an inkwell, fusing myself to the pages yet to be written.
The words staged a sit-in. They wouldn't listen. They jumped out of me, dared me not to fit in. I was smitten. Never had I felt so free, giving myself permission, not only to write, but also to speak. I opened my mouth and banished all weak concepts of me, shredded the shyness, demolished the meek, and yet still awash in humanity, inviting myself to stop hiding and go seek, to look for me underneath the rocks I had hidden in my cheeks, hawking the dirt for its gems. I made myself priceless when I picked up my pen, too bright to be dimmer. Now I shine when I hit the light just right, twinkling in ink or mirror.
I, this once caged eagle, ready to soar, diving, like I said once again, in the lesser parts of me, giving me bravery of what I now share willingly. Now this living, this dream deferred and turned into the words that I know once silenced me. I am too an advocate of words.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for them advocate of words. Thomas Connor.
Oh shit! Double dragons in this motherfucker. Double dragons.
Ready. Same time next week.
You know it's gonna be fire because it had such a fire title. Advocate of Words. I love the title. You can find Thomas Connor on Facebook. Make sure you look him up. And Ray Jane, we didn't get to hear, but you can find her website and all of her info on it. It's rayjane.com, itsrayjane.com. Thank y'all so much for that collab. Loved it. Great title too. All right. That's a tough thing to follow with Thomas Connor and Ray Jane, but luckily, the open mic gods are with us because next up, we are going to the Skiffers with Paul Skiff, who is also highlighted in our highlight reel that went up this morning. I'm trying to unmute Mr. Paul Skiff right there. He goes, the OG
think I'm here.
Paul. Let the people know where they can find you. Let's hear your poetry.
It's just paulskiff.com. Happy to follow that tag team. I may have done this before, so apologies, but the three dresses Eileen owned in 1937 in a chaw of tobacco swallowed by a boy's Quaker tongue while diving for a liner in the deep outfield of Tiger Stadium traced gray cotton and dirty elbows into my physical presence. But mine was a brick shoveler's back made from bridge cable daydreamed by tears that drank the sun. Silver buckle closing worn overalls around waist of the boiler man dead among his Catholics in the West Side Hospital. Sunshine of a day in 1914 preserved within photograph of a young boy on Ellis Island. The picture no larger than a matchbox, the buckle shine, a few gray specks, small square of immortal light compared by sight to seconds, understanding years. But mine were the coal burner's eyes carved by guitar strings that sing like train engines driving first day of winter off bridge over human will. The voice Pauline turned to make present names of her cousins or confide who was the best butcher. The voice, unmoved about 40 days, survived at the bottom of a boat. Quiet are the wind hunted, the chance takers, the insolent heroism of making a pie. Her hands into my mouth loudly deny desperation of that passage. But mine is the stonecutter's hand covered by map of insanity that guides concealed curves of heroic face upon discovery of laughter. Eyes, the winter sky, ancient women from the nunnery after kneeling upon the prayer bench in front of Joseph's casket laid their arthritic hands upon my cheek and said, "He was such a good man." Their consecration pronounced the message hidden in me. There are lives with outcomes greater than their purpose. But mine are the ice maker's lips commemorate victory of reality over death, surrendering in voice of a laughing boy spelling percentages with a wave crash. The 3 or 4 words of Polish that colored my throat as a child left my mind finally at the age of 5. The syllables are in the wind that drives up hills of the west side to blow cool over the red blood broth of duck soup, invisible within steam, unbalanced, asking me to listen with my spine. But I have the smokestack climber's shoulders that hunt for gravity, walking backward over persistence of tightrope strung between twin reflections. This is how I was made. This is how I was made. Mother, I have collected you back, pain by pain, death by death. Out of 60 blocks walked to home at night. Why did I feel the slow descent to broad lawns and smell the grass when you dreamed of the cemetery rides, when you regained anger's breath, pulse, weariness? Your body became only yours, not your child's. Together, with vicious refusals, we humiliated preparations for my rape made by all the institutions that demanded you give me a name instead of letting me be called by a real need, by what gives testimony to life inside myself, a need to walk with wind shaking mountains back, to be water laying over a coin to rise in the storm, towering at 35,000 feet, becoming a fist of light that never hits ground. Have I always been listening to what I heard your body convey from black fires that put the ocean here to outlive us by 50 lifetimes of incomprehension? Ow, ow, ow. That's light going right through me. Does that mean yes, Mother?
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Paul Skiff.
Skiff first. He does it again. He pulls you in to the Skiff first. Damn it.
Amazing. Every single freaking time.
He's like this. He's like the center of his own galaxy, just drawing you in. PaulSkiff.com, 2 F's at the end. It's a New Rican Poets Cafe OG. I always say he's got more claim to this open mic than me. Make sure you go give him a follow. I love having him part of this community. Paul Skiff. You just entered the Skiff verse, paulskiff.com. Next coming up is someone who hasn't been with us in a while. I guess they're busy beating life, and that is Ma Dukes. Let me unmute Ma Dukes. Let them know where they can find you online, and then let's hear your poetry. Welcome back.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you, Advocate, for having me back. You can find me on The Word is Right with my beautiful co-author, Marissa Prada, Ma Dukes Poetry on Instagram. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat so you can pre-order my upcoming book, Epiphanies of the Soul. With that being said, I'm going to get into the poem. It's called A Poem from My Godly Mother. Appearances of a Christ-like love and compassion are deceiving and leave a lonely daughter grieving. While you go to church 2 days a week and twice on Sundays, she remembers. She remembers when Sundays were not spent in church being godly and praying to a God who can't answer her biggest prayer. Sundays were spent trying to steal a bite of dinner and getting chased out of the kitchen. Sundays were about family, fried chicken, fights, and laughter. And even though dad and her uncles were drunk, Sundays were scarred with bloody noses, blackened eyes, and rendering of souls. That was family, right, Mom? Sundays, she hated them. She loved them. She hated them. But by God, at least she was a part of them. Remembering the pain of broken promises and drunken anger before she knew her ABCs. She enabled her father, having learned the art of manipulation at her mother's knee. That was family, right? Right, Mom? Aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents lived with the dysfunction and pain, but at least she was part of them. As a teen, she felt the cut of a betrayal so deep by the lies manifested by the very mouth who professed to love her child. The sting of that betrayal leaves the girl so broken and doubting everything she was ever told about who she believed she was. Still, she was part of, and hey, that's family, right? Right, Mom? Eventually, the girl graduated and escaped into the arms of every man who came along trying to find family. She fucked her way through many before finding a bigger, badder, more violent version of the man who chose to raise her. But that's family, right? Right, Mom? And that family led to more violence, lies, and betrayal, a deeper brutality than the young woman had ever known. But that was your version of family, right? Right, Mom? Then the young woman, 3 kids in tow, found the courage and strength to find herself, her true self. She stopped punishing herself for her mother's sins. She stopped trying to find herself in family. She stopped the lies and came to terms with her true self. While she was doing those things, you found God. And when the young woman came to you in tatters, but rebuilding herself, you used God to start the slow process of pushing her out of your life. Yet another betrayal by mother in the name of family. It wasn't very godly to let her drown in her own tears for her need to love how her God really intended her to love. Godly, but not godlike. But that's still family, right, Mom? As the hands of time move on, as they inevitably do, the woman child grows, and as she has always done, she's marched to the beat of her own drum. And you march along to onward Christian soldiers. And as you grew closer to God, you grew further from her, the very life essence you brought into this world. So godly in your condemnation of your daughter, so righteous. Still, that's family, right, Mom? Then the woman found another way to pray, different way, but pray nonetheless. And condemned once again, this time a heathen by the godly. Still, it's family though, right, Mom? In her 50s now, the woman knows her ungodly heathen family is more godlike than your God one ever will be. That's my family now, right, Mom? Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give some love to Ma Dukes.
Oh, Ma
Damn,
Dukes.
Ma.
Let's go,
Holy
Ma
shit.
Dukes. How you drop that shit?
That was
love you,
Dope,
Mom.
Ma Dukes. Dope.
Dukes, that was gangster, was soft at the same time. Like that was like that right balance. That's like vulnerable, but still a lot of strength. Ma Dukes, make sure you put your information in the chat so that the people can follow you and they can find out all the information too about all the work that you were doing with Marissa Prada. Ma Dukes got her hands in a couple of cookie jars too. Is the Withdrawn still here? I want to know if you went to go make cookies. All right, next coming up, we've got Paul con queso. Where is Paul? There he is. Last week, Paul put in his poem. Now he's a combination of Adam Levine and Ace Ventura. I can't unthink it now. I can't unthink it. Paul, let the people know where they can find you online, brother. Then let's hear that fire.
At the handle on the IG. I wanted to give shouts to Elemental for a really dope event. Well, to Marissa for hosting it with The Word Is Right, but to Elemental for being one half of the Storm Gods with me. I almost didn't sign up tonight because Mother's Day is a confluence of a lot of shit for me. And yesterday was not an easy day or a good per se day, but somebody told me that I should like take it and put it my own way, that like even if it's not all roses and peaches and I misuse and it's more layered than that I should still sign up. So I did. This is called Mothers and Other Drugs. What do you do when your wounds are hereditary? A cursed birthright to fight this disease which seizes in blood. When the malady runs so deep it machetes through bone marrow. When addiction is embedded in you from the point of conception. And what if you've been raised by professional escape artists, absconding the scene anytime there's a threat, before handcuffs clasp or the padlocks lock, they're a puff of smoke already vanishing? What if you can never escape your nature? In some way, aren't we all fiends for nurturing? I came out the womb searching, only to find my mother occupied with denial, getaway driving from pain, a concept I understand today, but at 2, it was nothing if not confusing. When she fled from nest to protect us from domestic monsters of unconscionable, refugees taken northward to city of bricks where grandma lived and we stayed a bit, sleeping within cramped living rooms, like bodies pressed in some sawed-in-half illusionist's box. After school spent cradled in the nook of grandmother legs, a straitjacket of safe, watching reruns of Roadrunner being chased by Wile E. Coyote. And I felt a piece of me in that ever futile pursuit, always running in place over cliffs dissolving beneath my feet. A help me sign flashed before plummeting. Then at 8, when she had to go away, escaping into ancestral plane became spirit guide dematerializing before my eyes in the midst of scolding. Me, mid-confrontation with sister, head-butting in our blood, left arm gone stiff, tongue swelled. We called for help, but responses were futile as the arriving ambulance. What's a mother then? When all mine was the lesser limb of a maternal tree, dying to be freed. Grandma for me was frontline caretaker, and mom had to compensate for financial loss, working night jobs on weekends and partying often, burning the candle at all 3 ends just to numb the death of her own nurturer. Now I know about that. Parenting myself at 8 through darkness, unsafe, cradling my own head some nights, and you couldn't have known what was happening. Well, you could have, but I was so afraid to let anyone see. Forging signatures on permission slips, helping my sister finish her homework. Shit, you told me I could drop out at 16. So in my teens, I had to level up to mother's protector from mates and other monsters. All her partners would cheat and deny and beat, and somehow from this she'd never leave until it reached a state of brain-damaging overdose. Weighted in manic depressive coats, it was written in her blood to don this invisibility cloak, and budding me at 16, stepping in to protect her from violent men, meds, and other exes, interceding chest to chest with her demons, a boy against men. But even at 20, I couldn't protect her from death. Came for her while I fled from healing, from self, from feeling anything at all but numb. My mama knew something about that. But while she slept, the embolism in pulmonary hardened in veins, clotting to cut circulation off, and that too was in the blood. Waking up to a call, hurried to scene, coroners en route, spoiled the ending before I could see. Shattered boy in grief, no tears milked from this marrow for near a week until reading her elegy. Found myself trying to piece and parse these parcels, elaborate tricks, trap doors and escape hatches of collateral damage. And now at 33, learning to reparent, not follow instincts of runaway into overdose, but it's in this blood. When your own leaves such deep tunnels to dig, and balance is a sanguine sky of pitch on fake holidays where everyone acknowledges their nurturer in obvious ways, and you are left to vanish into self. When all you've got to console is an old box of wounds, vinyl records, and syringes, and other tricks to compensate for the fact you now have to wean yourself off that habit, going from needle in vein to healing in vain, withdrawing from shame cold turkey. And I know she did the best she could given all she'd been given and known. Notice relationships mistakenly become methadone. Healing becomes in treatment. Focus turns on parenting self again. Patching ancestral damage seems harder than bone marrow transfusions, but I am doing all I can to temper this blood into its own method of methadone. Even when grown, our inner child still needs nurturing. So I figure I'll be the one to step up and cradle him, to drain this narrow marrow from and sustain with love's bandages, cauterizing this mother wound, ridding this home of spoons and other paraphernalia, to allow all my maternal guides to be lines of healing, bloodstreams to spirit, rather than reasons I deny my own growth, because sacred and scared are anagrams, spelled with the same 6 letters, but it's on us to arrange which spells of spelling feed our systems of belief, waking to my need to heal blood, bone, and marrow, from Igun and other serums heirloom to me, because I am my grandmother and mother's son, but I am not anyone's generational curse to break. I am my own way out, and this time it's not a desperate act of escape, it's liberation.
Unmute yourselves, give it up for Paul.
Yes, Storm God in the building. Let me tell you about this kid. Let me tell you, man. Storm God in the building. Fuego, man. Fuego.
You did it. You did it. You did it. We're right here.
Con queso, as I told you, you could flip the topic however you want, come whatever angle. People are going to bring their own different experiences. Paul, thank you so much for opening yourself to that, man. We always appreciate those poets who allow themselves to be vulnerable. And if you look in the chats, a lot of people can relate. So make sure that you check that out. Look up Paul Con Queso. You can find him, Paul Con Queso. That's his handle. Next coming up, Abigail Polis. Now, Abigail keeps checking us out, but I think this is only the second time she is on the list. And right now, it looks like she is at some tropical beach, but she's hanging out with us. She is winning life. Abigail, let the people know where they can find you online, and then let's hear your poetry.
All right. I put my name in the little rename box and I'll rewrite it online, but it's at abigail.polis on Instagram. And then I have a sexual wellness site for my more erotic, dirty stuff that's not family friendly. And that's sirensaintsexualwellness.com. So they're there. And I wasn't planning on necessarily getting in to speak, so I just wrote that this morning, and it's called Mother Womb. So the orange tabby cat I call Senor Don Gato is curled up under my arm as I lie on my stomach, naked here in bed. He belongs to no one and yet to everyone all at the same time, much like me. Although I can't help but feel in this moment that he is precious, like my child. Spanish love songs play in the background as I roll around on the rubber sphere they call the courageous ball that I place under my stomach to help ease the tension. It massages my womb on the outside to get the muscles on the inside that have plagued me with a lifetime of bladder spasms and sometimes just straight up peeing my pants. I've got to admit that I think that loving my pelvic floor more is working though. So now I try to lie like this face down on my bed with the ball under my tummy nearly every day. Sometimes the pain feels like sharp and twisted knives are scraping me from the inside, or like there are snakes writhing in my belly just under my navel. At times, as I lie here, I can feel my heartbeat in my womb as it pulsates, and although it is oddly painful, it also brings pleasure to my pussy as it does so. It's getting easier, though, to do this every morning with each little twist, as I gently apply the pressure, slowly beginning to soften here and free up the movement, often uncomfortably constricting my heavenly curvaceous hips. When they feel fluid and free, I not only have the power to give birth to a human being, but to create and conjure the dreams that I store within me simply from the heat that this hearth in my belly's base can harness. Today, it's like an extra special treat to have a warm and fuzzy furry cat now cuddling up under the crook that lies between my bare belly and my right arm. I stroke his relaxed body lovingly and gingerly, just like his color, which is the same manner that I now try to touch my own figure and soft, smooth skin each day. As I do so, I celebrate its serenity, or sometimes even consecrate the sensations of my morning's desire and rapture, while the universe nurtures me with slender fingers guided by my own still emerging, yet unwavering, embryonic faith in myself.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Abigail.
Yes, yes, yes.
Abigail.
Good shit, Abigail.
Dope, Abigail.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Getting down and dirty from her Caribbean beach. Make sure you go check her out, Abigail.Polis. Thank you, Abigail. Make sure you sign it up more. I appreciate you coming checking us out like week in, week out, but we want to hear from you more. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Marissa put her information in the chat because everyone said that you got to go and do erotic stuff with Marissa. The community is so dirty. Okay, we have gotten to everyone on our guaranteed list, so now we're going to get to our waiting list. I want to shout some people out who are here, but I don't see on our waiting list, like Marilyn Uriah, who's always coming in and checking out, giving us love. Thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate you. We have Kevin Alexander and Nancy Helgeson, who it looks like their video cameras are on, but it's all dark and blank. Nonetheless, they're here checking us out, not on the open mic list. Appreciate y'all as well. Who is here? So Umberto Marte, haven't seen him in a while. Umberto, what's going on, brother? I hope all is well. This dude stays giving us love. Boetaku out in Japan. It is early morning for him. He's checking us out. He was also on our highlight reel from last week that went up this morning. Midnight is here. He is actually very quiet because his Mets are not doing well and the Yankees have begun to turn it around. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you here. Okay, and James Spoken Word is here. I love that background. It's like Christmassy, but not. I don't know how it is. It is and it isn't. I love it. Jane Spoken Word, always giving us love. Okay, now we are going to get to Poetic Desire, who is first on the wait list. Let me unmute her. Poetic Desire, let the people know where they can find you online. Now let's hear your poetry.
Facebook, Instagram, Poetic Desire with a K, and 6-word memoirs, Poetic Pisces.
Wait, you got to speak up a little bit. It's hard to hear you. I don't know if you could turn your mic up or speak up a little bit.
All right, can you hear me now? Louder, is that better?
I can. It's just very low.
Why? All right, if I talk loudly like this, can you hear me?
I can. It's just low. Gad, we'll go with it. Gad, see if you just get a little closer to the computer. Get intimate with us. Gad.
Let's try this. Okay, start with a haiku and hopefully you can hear me. Mother's life force births miraculous creation. Seeded life grows up. The miracle of life. Planting the seeds of life, the seeds of God's creation, A miracle of life has now been set in motion. The most intricate miracle of all takes 9 months to grow. It'll fill your heart and life with so much love and joy. Forever will your life be changed as you take on one of life's greatest challenges, the challenge of being a wonderful mother to care for a child through each growing stage. Your heart will fill with much devotion to ensure your child receives plenty of love. Your baby is truly a miracle, a blessing, an angel sent from the heavens above. And for my last poem, it starts with a 6-word memoir. Still needs protection of superhero mommy. So this is superhero mommy. For all the superhero moms out there saving the world one child at a time, through all the tantrums, spit ups, sleepless late night, I want my mommy cries, through all the no's, pretty pleases, I want this because I said so's, through all the tornado, hurricane, what storm came through this house, this child's room this time? Through all this and more, a mother in the eyes of their child is their greatest hero. For through all the tears of motherhood, the greatest tear to shed is for all those little moments that add up to every inspiring mother quote read. A mother's heart is rescued by that of her own children when this superhero mom is rewarded with love and joy beyond comparison. Sadness cheered with one child's laugh, with every child says the darndest thing. Smiles abound by the plentiful through each stage of life, witnessing a child blooming. Blooming into the greatest accomplishment of all, a child you nurtured from the beginning to handle what life shall bear upon them through all your infused superhero disciplining. So though there will be days of grief, of hopelessness, of I failed as a mom, in the eyes of your child, you are their own hero. In their eyes only, you can do no wrong. Their love is unconditional. They will always come back to you, even when all grown up with a family all their own. A child still needs the protection of their superhero mommy, you. Good night.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Poetic Desire.
That was fire. Good
Let's
shit.
go, Super Mommy East. Let's go. Let's go, Super Mommy. Let's go. Oh.
Super Mommy, my fellow Pisces Poetic Desire. Make sure that you go give her a follow. Also, I forgot to shout out Whitney Salgado. This is the second week in a row that I did it. And Whitney is like the past 3 months, man. She's been treating the Monday Night Online open mic like it's heroin. She's always checking in. I'm sorry, I missed her again. And she's got her camera on so we could see all her reactions. She's always giving love. Shout out to Whitney Salgado. I appreciate you, Whitney. Hey, Whitney, you know that you're allowed to sign up and share your poetry if you want. All right, no pressure. I'm glad you're coming here and you're listening to us all the time, but you're allowed to sign up and rock out with us as well. Okay, I have up next Ryan. I don't know if it's Tack or Takak, and he keeps checking us out, but I don't see him here now. I guess he didn't think we'd get to him, which is a shame because he keeps getting onto the waiting list. I wanted to get to him for the first time. So I don't see Ryan here. Also, Tony Sorrow. I don't see a Tony here at all. I've never heard the name Tony sign up with us before. So nope, don't see him. That means we are going to go to GK. All right, I'm gonna try to say his last name right. And he may have to correct me. Is it Jairam? Wait, let me unmute him. I'm trying to unmute you, GK. Are you getting the request to unmute yourself? So we can't hear you. It should pop up on the screen saying host is asking to unmute. There you go.
Yes.
There you
Yay.
So did I pronounce your last name right?
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah. So GK, tell us, where are you from, brother?
I'm right now in a village in Cranberry Village in New Jersey, but long ago, 80 years ago from India.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we representing India via New Jersey. That's what's up. Well, welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic. As you saw before, our poets share their social media handles where people can follow them if you have that, and then get into your poetry.
Yeah, I don't have any, or I don't remember. I don't use it much. So I will put in my email ID, and if people want to communicate, they could. Okay.
You can put that in the chat. Yeah. I can hear
I'll put
you.
it in the chat box.
Awesome.
I'll put it. Yeah.
All right. Let's
Okay.
see your poetry. Go ahead.
I have two pieces. The first one is the final dare. The winter winds may be blowing, but do not get cold feet about the aging old feet, the squeaking knees, the sporadic wheeze, about the well-hidden unease, about the dreaded disease. Cease and desist, I say, as the feet tap and the body sway to the lilting tunes of a melody from a beloved yesterday. As the body grows more frail, the mind grows more fertile, more agile. Let the spirit find its muse, not just to amuse or cleverly confuse, but to truly fuse together the music and the magic of love, life, liberty, and the snap, pop, and crackle of fresh popcorn. If you let the passing time seize and squeeze your spirit in its relentless tentacles, like a slowly tightening piano wire around your ancient and sad testicles, you will arrive at your destination, you fool, long before your assignation. You can use so many punctuation marks, chum, commas, colons, semicolons, ad infinitum, before you have to arrive at a period. Who said you are sentenced to a mere sentence? As with a lover, so with life. You can pause for a clause, you can tease an applause, you can close the clause of a cruel word with a confession of endearing flaws. You can choreograph a paragraph, you can dance to a seance, love life with a nuance, and tarry, parry, swish, 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 the advance of the prim creeper. Don't let him get you cheaper. Tell him you come dear, because you have come very near to the conquest of fear. And I have a second one. Hold on. The Song of the Forgotten Children. My daughter, who works for the Innocence Project in Manhattan, told me to write this poem about young girls and boys in indentured labor and what happens to them. Mama, I want to talk to you. What shall I do? You will not get this letter. They will never mail it. I can write, so I will. I have to, or I will burst. I can write. Most others know not how to. Most others here know not how to. I at least went to school. I'm from Kerala. But there are girls here, my new friends, from somewhere called Nepal and Philippines and Uganda. Mama, there are people like us everywhere, just poor, desperate, helpless, and cheated out of even the small promises. You know, I came here to send money to you. They told me I'll earn American money, but Mama, they lied. They said each month we give $1,000. Mama, come the end of the month, they gave us $100. And you know me, you're a feisty daughter. I said, you have missed a zero. You should give me $1,000. Mama, the man laughed. He said, listen, girl, you take this or you get nothing. And I'm scared, Mama, because the man took my passport and said, so, oh, you are a tough girl, are you? Who will care for you here? Your mama? Worse things can happen to you than just losing money. You are alone here. You think those other men and women can support you? You know what happened when thousands of you last protested? Mama, they shut them up in a place which had no windows and did bad things to the women and to the men too. Those big people in Washington, why don't they care for us, Mama? A soldier who takes pity on us told me, our government forbids human trafficking. Girl, that's what these guys are doing here. Slavery, buying and selling poor people like you. I read in the papers he gave me, their government says all kinds of good things. And they say, don't do the bad things or we will punish you. But Mama, no one has been punished. I showed the paper to the man who laughed at me. And he said, how do you know English? Never mind, they won't do anything to us. Don't you see? They need us because they need you and we can get you. There are so many more like you where you came from. They will not miss you there. You are good riddance, one less mouth to feed. They need your money, not you. That's not true. My mama cried when I left. I'm sure she cries every day. Oh, I'm sure she does. All the way to the bank, honey. What are you doing after work? Mama, you do miss me, I know. You do, don't you? Can I come home, Mama? Will they let me go home? Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for GK.
Yeah.
DK, dope,
us,
man.
one
Dope,
of
dope,
us,
dope.
one
Powerful.
of us,
Yeah.
one of us,
Dope, man.
one of us.
GK, Gyron, make sure that you come back. GK, as you heard, they were saying one of us. That means they like your poetry. They want you to come back every Monday night. Gonna have to tell your daughter, baby, gonna have to speak to me Sunday or Tuesday. Monday night, I'm busy with the new yo. GK, Gyron, thank you, brother. Welcome. I hope you come back. Next, coming up, we have Diane Ward. Could never go wrong with Diane Ward. Oh, Diane's looking like, wait, I'm not prepared.
I'm ready.
Oh, you
Yes,
ready?
I am.
Awesome, Diane. Again, floor is yours.
I wasn't sure if I was going to get on, so I'm going to go right to it. This is called Body Grammar. The big girls were those already double-digit age. So when anyone 10 years old and up spoke, it was the truth. They knew the world after all because they were here a while before us. Their words were pronouncements of weight and gravity. They were almost grown, wearing knee-high socks, not anklet socks like us. The big girls wore training bras and secretly lip gloss. They were to us younger kids street smart gurus. My single-digit aged friends and I would commingle occasionally with the big girls. One morning in the schoolyard, someone within that shared community floated the idea of which of us could be the Virgin Mary. I wasn't going to be outdone. I wanted to be the Virgin Mary. She was Jesus' mother, a good girl, had faith, she suffered, but ended up in glory and didn't have to die. He's the king of the whole shebang. Oh yeah, I could be the Virgin Mary. I was a contender. But then one of the big girls said, I couldn't be the Virgin Mary. She said that everybody knows that when little black girls are born, the doctor opens her hyphen so it won't hurt. And that's why black girls go with boys so young. I have a hyphen? Where? I heard of the word before in my grammar book along with comma and question mark. I didn't know about period yet. I am crushed. I'm a good girl. No, I can't be the Virgin Mother, baby. Ma said the tooth fairy keeps baby teeth. Maybe Ma kept my hyphen alongside my plastic infant wristband. If she has my hyphen, I want to see it. As soon as I walked through our door, which opened directly onto our living room, I yell out loudly, Ma, am I a virgin? She's in the kitchen. I knew she could hear my question. Probably everyone else did through these thin apartment walls. Yes, you are, she responded at a normal register. I shout out, are you sure? I asked again because I'm not done. Yes, I'm sure, Diane. Okay. Now I walk into the kitchen where Ma is cutting an apple for my afternoon snack. She must be cutting that apple into 6 because she's still cutting a bright little red apple. Very calmly, Ma says, "Why did you ask?" So I tell her, "The big girl said that I can't be the Virgin Mary because everybody knows that doctors take or open some black girls' hyphen when they are born, and that's why black girls go with boys real young." Ma said, "Diane, that's not true. You tell those girls that the same thing they say about little black girls could be turned around and said about any group of people. Someone could turn around and say it about them. It's not true." I am happy. I was so excited that I could be the Virgin Mary, I couldn't sleep that night. I picked out my school clothes for the next day. I would close and open my eyes over and over, but it was so dark out. I couldn't wait to get to that schoolyard. I ran up to the big girls in the schoolyard and proclaimed, "My mother said..." What? You told your mother?" one asked. "Yes, I did," I replied as I continued uninterrupted, and she said, "That's not true. I am a virgin. And whatever you want to say about little black girls, anyone could say about any group of people, even you. So don't say that again." Me and my hyphen proudly turned around and marched across the schoolyard to play with other kids. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for Diane Ward and her hyphen.
Beautiful, Diane.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
That was
Diane. Beautiful, Diane. Really beautiful.
Wow. Diane Ward, I say, and this poem was like perfect for it. She's got like that perfect balance of like wisdom and youth. I love it. That's why I'm ready to risk it all and get killed by her husband. It's so worth it. Diane Ward, thank you so much for being part of this community. I'm glad we got to you tonight. Okay, I think we may have time for one more person. We're going to the Bronx with Roz. Roz looking all done up, you know, because she was at the theater at her old alma mater and they were filming her all professional and stuff. Roz, let the people know where they can find you online and get into your poetry.
Hey, so it's Through Her Big Brown Eyes on Instagram or throughherbigbrowneyes.com, my website. I'm gonna do the piece Designer of My Crown. I feel like I've spoken a lot about the non-conventional mother-daughter relationship, but I want to give my flowers to my grandma. So, you know, she picked up the slack and it goes like this. Sometime in 1989, your eyes met mine for the first time. And you took me in with arms wide open. Mom and Dad received a blessing before they knew how to count their blessings, and you stepped up. Divinely chosen. My lifeline, my hero, my biggest fan. With the smallest yet strongest hands, you raised me. Raised me from the nightmare it could have been to the victory it was meant to be, Mommy, my biggest cheerleader. You would put me in my place in the blink of an eye, and behind my back, brag about me, gloating with pride at the fighter you helped to create. Your goal was always to compensate for the unusual anatomy of the family tree that created me. You supported me through every obstacle and every journey, and for that, I am eternally grateful. You're so independent, giving, and faithful as the years pass and time makes his mark on your oh so familiar face in the form of creases around your eyelids and the corners of your mouth. Wishing I could freeze time, but nevertheless proud. Proud to be a product of you. Happy that you are able to see the fruits of your labor
and that you too get to savor my triumphs with me. I'm glad. Glad to have you and even the smell of your food leading me home. My promise to you is never to leave you alone because you have always had my back unconditionally. I cherish you. I cherish the chats over coffee and the inevitable strolls down memory lane. It's hard to explain what you mean to me. I'm just elated to be able to pick up the phone and ask for la bendición because you're indeed my biggest blessing, my Achilles heel, my weakness. And yet at the same time, you strengthen me. I promise to be the highlight of your legacy, designer of my crown, my queen. You will always be. I love you, mommy. End poem.
Awesome.
Unmute yourself and give it up for Roz.
Go,
Good shit,
Roz.
Roz.
All right,
Awesome shit,
Roz.
Roz.
Let's go.
Roz.
Dope, Roz. Dope, Roz.
Thank you guys.
Dope.
Love you, Roz.
Dope.
Love you too.
Dope, Roz.
Gotta give it up to the grandmas, the nanas, how's here, the matriarchs of the family. Make sure you give Roz a follow through herbigbrowneyes.com and on Instagram at through her big brown eyes. So happy we got her on there. You know, she's becoming a superstar. People that, you know, doing video and all that with her. I forgot to also shout out Ron Mark Thompson, who's checking us out. Love you, brother. What's going on, man? I see you here. Smile, smile. I see it. Want to give a shout out to, because we're not going to be able to get to them on the open mic list, to Bushra of Snoozy. Sorry we couldn't get to you, bro. Andy Markert, who was just at a slam. Amelia. Shout out to Amelia, who signed up for the first time. And Vincent Medolo. Sorry we couldn't get to you all. We got to 6 people on the waiting list. We got that deep, but time is running out. So, with that being said, our next show is next Monday, and we are going, there's no theme, so rock out how you want. I know all of you dirty-minded people usually like to jump on it when we have no theme, so I'm going to be prepared. Also, this Thursday, La Bruja is hosting the open mic. You do poetry, sing, comedy, all of that. So make sure you follow me online at Advocate of Words with a Z at the end. Follow New Rican Poets Cafe and Facebook and YouTube so you can rewatch this show. So with that being said, good night, sweet poet. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Good night, sweet poet. May your dreams be as imaginative as tonight's poems. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for inviting the spirit of Miguel Agarin into your home. This has been the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New Rican Poets Cafe. I have been your host for the evening, Advocate of Words. Thank you all for such an enjoyable Monday, as always, and I will see you next week. Good night.